As you go through the routine today, you've gone through it once to feel it. I want you to get a little more out of it conceptually too. So like, here's cease. I think this might actually be Hap hitting a bomb off him. Yeah, that's okay. It was 98 still. So I want to show you how he loads his back hip. So like after he gets to the top of his lift and he gets to his natural body position inside of gravity, you see how he's not staying straight up and down, he's going forward, right? Now look, everybody's got a little bit of knee bend. It's unathletic to be locked out. But what we're about to see here is as he rides the slope of the mound going towards home, we're going to see all the bend happen in his hip and none of it's going to leak into his knee. Look how good his back hip is hinging. You see how he's sitting down into his backside and he's getting deeper and deeper and deeper the further he gets down the mound there. That's a fully loaded backside. Nothing has leaked into his quad. He's prepared his hips to rotate. He's carrying his body weight in an efficient way down the mound so he stays connected. Right before he lands, those hips switch. And then I'll show you on the different videos what's happening from here into the ground through. But just look how he's not pushing the ball out. Look at that good top half rotation going down around his front hip there. All right, let me show you from the side. All right, here's good Urias, right? Natural body position into gravity there at the apex of his knee lift. His body weight and his knee lift are working in opposite directions. His knee's working towards his belly button. His body weight's working towards home. Now, this is the point where we don't let anything leak into our knee and into our quad. We keep it in our hip load and we stay connected. Look how his head and his belly button are always working in the same direction. Is he getting a really good hinge and ride down into his back hip there? Look at his back knee. There's no additional knee flex going towards his toes there. He's catching it all in his back hip. By the time he gets into the ground, boom, he's prepared his body to rotate. Now, this is the spot that I was talking to you guys about when we were doing the PVC pipe, when we were making our first move, our first rotational move with our top half. Watch his front hip here. You can kind of see in the Snapchat vid, see how it's like the tips of his spikes are touching the dirt right now. He's like just about to touch, but he's not in the ground yet. Watch what happens. Look, in his first rotational move in his top half, is he really pinching down into that axis of rotation? And then look at the way his front leg interacts with the ground. Is his knee flexing towards home? Or does it look like he's driving the ground down underneath his front foot with that turn? You see what I'm saying? You see how his body weight's getting driven down into the ground as he's rotating around his front hip, and then that front hip is staying stable all the way through release, and he's finishing his turn around it. See? Two more real quick. Here's Yu Darvish from the front. Again, apex of knee lift. His knee lift and his body weight are working in opposite directions. From here, he's going to ride his back hip as he gets deep. Look, no additional knee flex. Where's he catching his body weight? In his quad or in his back hip and his butt? Yeah. Ride, ride, ride. Belly button and chin working in the same direction. Boom. Now watch. He just landed. This is great mobility in his hips. Everything's on time in his top half. Watch his axis of rotation. Watch what happens when he makes his first rotational move. Boom. You see that pinch down into his front hip right there. Look at the way his front leg interacts with the ground. You see him driving his body weight down into that front leg as he rotates around his front hip there. See what I'm saying? All right, last thing. Just a good example of what it looks like to be disconnected. Where's he at? I I know you're here. I just saw you. I was going through these vids this morning. Oh, here, perfect. All right, check it out. I hope this is not the instructional one. Yeah, okay, look. This is a college dude. He throws 90. He has terrible mechanics. I wish he had good mechanics. He'd probably throw 100. Watch. As he gets into his natural body position there at the apex of his knee lift, you see he's confused. What do you think he thinks he's doing right there with his back hip as he lifts his front knee? Do you think he thinks he's like loading it and hinging down into it? But the problem is it's not going to result in connection. This body position isn't terrible. That's a little awkward, but in general, you can pitch from this position. But watch what happens afterwards. We're going to see his belly button continue to go down the mound, but we're going to see his head and his top half work in an opposite direction. You see how when we were watching those other guys from the side, as their belly button tracks down the mound, their head's tracking down the mound at an equal rate. Is his head tracking down the mound, or is he like really hanging over his back leg for a really long time? That's disconnected. That leads to timing issues into the ground. It leads to leaks in power, and it leads to rotational deficiencies to release right there. You see what I'm saying? That's a dude who's so freaking athletic and strong, he's throwing 90 despite himself. You know what I mean? If he learned how to use his body, he would literally be throwing 100 miles an hour right now. But like, again, just showing you